email quite recently, someone that I haven't spoken to for ages, but I love talking to, and this is Aneesa Chaudhry, and she's one of these people that if you look at her website, you think, well, hang on a minute, how does she find the time for all of this? So I'll just give you a few examples. The event that we're just about to talk about, which is Eastern Flavours gig, that's happening at the Brunswick pub in Hove on Sunday, but she also has singing workshops. She's got the Queen's Jubilee concert, Martlett's Hospice Community Choir, which we've spoken about before and which is wonderful. She's got the Rainbow Chorus 21st birthday concert, St Wilfrid's Hospice Community Choir concert. There's just a long and extensive list here. Workshops, various events, festivals. Delighted to welcome Aneesa onto the programme. Thank you so much for joining us. You're busy.
Hello.
There's never a dull moment, is there, in your world?
Oh, I'm so lucky that when I work, I get to play. So that's such a brilliant thing. And I was thinking about it the other day when I was reflecting on the return of a lot of choir members to rehearsals and audiences to gigs, and just looking at them absorb what feels like medicine. It's like, music. It's so healing, it's uplifting, and you just have to give them that opportunity. And thank God, thank God, we are on the other side of COVID.
Oh, I know people. I know that people did a lot via Zoom, but just looking at these pictures of you. So I'm looking at Hand in Hand LGBTQ plus Choirs Festival, and there's you up there, and there's everyone obviously having a whale of a time engaged in this. And then just below that, there's a really lovely picture of Martlett's Good Vibrations Choir, and you can see the joy. You can see how much people are engaged in this.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the thing is, once you allow yourself to get involved in these things, because a lot of people are still experiencing a level of anxiety, and so, just to even be back in a space where you have to reflect and ask, do I need to wear a mask? Is it safe for me? Because a lot of the work I do is with the more vulnerable community, members of the community, and people who want to come but actually have to ask themselves, can I come? Am I safe to come? And in our government, everyone's saying just get back to normal, but the reality is that for some of those people there is no back to normal, because their lives have significantly changed. And even me, I have to be honest, when I'm performing, I wear my mask until I actually sing, and then when I'm conducting rehearsals, I wear a mask, because for me, if I can't work, if I get ill rather, I can't work. And I don't want to pass it on to anyone either. So there's always that in the back of my mind now, thinking, how can I keep everyone safe and make sure they all have a wonderful experience? So like on Sunday, for the Eastern Flavours Band gig, I'm thinking, what are those little things that I can do to make it lovely? Like, will I bring incense? Will I bring little trinkets and gifts just to say thank you for coming out? Because it's a big deal. But, to have
this is a lovely event. Let's just hear a tiny snippet of it.
Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear winter song. I miss you most of all, my darling. I wait on and leaves shut to fall. I should do.
Oh, I love it. And this is, you hear that and you think that needs to be in an environment where people are relaxed and gathered and having a chat afterwards. And it's so lovely that that's come back.
Yeah, and the Brunswick is a fantastic venue. They've always been so welcoming. You can go in and have a roast beforehand. They're really reasonable. The staff are so friendly, and it's just perfect for a performer like me or any band who wants to come to a venue. And, you have to support them, because if you don't use them, you lose them. So it's that whole thing of creating a vibe in a space where everyone feels free and welcome. And it's a different kind of gig. This gig is with Latin jazz pianist John Crawford, who's phenomenal, a percussionist that I've only recently started to work with, but again, he does amazing flamenco work as well, Demi Sabat Garcia, and a sitar player who I just stumbled across when I was doing some voluntary work for the London Street Orchestra. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's so much that's possible when you bring these worlds together. And I'm Asian, so I thought, during lockdown, I realised I need to sing again. That's what I realised, as much as I love doing all the conducting as well. That's one of my other things.
This is what I was going to ask you, because I really admire, I love the way that you are so passionate about bringing the community together and sharing your skills, but actually, ultimately, performing is what you do and what you love. So which do you prefer? Is it a delicate balancing act to do both of them?
I think the thing is, I don't see conducting as not performing. because I'm still up there doing something that really nourishes me, and that's what singing does as well. So when I'm singing, there's a place that I find myself going sometimes. It's like being on a tightrope walk. You're walking along and you just think, where am I going now? And suddenly you're going somewhere unexpected, and that's the beautiful thing about working with live musicians, that you don't always know. But in a similar way, when you're working with a group of people, you've got all of these people looking at you, whether it's an audience or a choir, and their hearts are in their mouths, their heartbeats are beating at the same time. I think I've told you this before, when people are singing, their hearts beat together, and that's just incredible, isn't it? And, they've got this moment of, am I going to remember the lyrics, or am I going to forget what I'm doing? And now my whole approach has changed since COVID. It's like, just offer what you can, bring what you can to the table. If you want to sing a chorus, sing a chorus. If you don't want to sing anything, just enjoy being surrounded by the harmony in this song, and then join us again when you can. Because so much emotion erupts, whether you're singing or in a choir or solo. And if people get emotional, then I'm like, well, be emotional. Just let us carry your hearts during that time, and then join back in when you can. And the same thing happens when I'm singing. I sometimes find myself getting super emotional, and I just think, right, well, just channel that energy, use my breath work and channel it into the performance. And it's just really raw and honest then. And that's really lovely, because I'm able to be totally authentic.
I love the way that, you talk about choirs. Choirs break down barriers. They break down sort of some of the social constraints that we have, or the fact that you're mixing with people that you maybe wouldn't normally mix with. And so does music. Music is the sort of great leveller, isn't it?
Yeah, I realised one thing that I was really missing in Brighton was my connection with the Asian community, and just as a performer in the LGBTQNI community, because I felt I'm sort of on the other side of it, leading lots of things. But when I heard the sitar that day, I just knew immediately that I wanted to bring Jonathan Mayer to the mix with John Crawford and Demi. And I thought, this is taking me on a personal journey as well, because I know when my dad's sitting there listening, or I know when anyone who has an appreciation for that kind of sound or rhythm, it just takes you somewhere else. You're not just in a hove in a pub. You're suddenly transported to an Asian world and an Eastern world. And, the rhythms, the sound of the sitar, and the way Jonathan plays it, actually, he sometimes sounds like he's playing a rock guitar, which is really bizarre. But equally, it's also really mesmerising. So there's one piece I wrote called Letting Go. And the audience joins in a little bit with the harmonies on that. But when you play what's called a turnaround, and everyone can just improvise on it, even the audience can, and he can improvise with his sitar, and it just takes you somewhere else. You're just transported to this really meditative, dreamlike state, and suddenly you're just somewhere else. And I think that's what the beauty of good music is, the escapism of taking you somewhere else, but also that you're totally present and in that moment.
This is something you're obviously really quite passionate about, and really sort of pleased with how this is all turned out, all unfolded.
Yeah, what I'd really love is people to come and support the gig, because there is a lot going on this month. As we know, it's the Fringe, and it's great to support them, every artist out there. But if people want to come and listen to some exceptional musicians, even if I'm not singing, you will have the time of your lives, I can promise you. If people are around and want to soak up some Asian vibes, then come down to the Brunswick. That's what I'd say. 2:00. Kids are only a $5.
It sounds wonderful. How do people so you literally just turn up at the Brunswick? You don't need to book in advance or anything like that?
Well, you can either just turn up, but I'd prefer if people booked in advance, because then as an artist, you've got an idea of whether you're meeting your costs, and make sure that people have got any access needs met, or, I can just give them information about the day itself. So, yeah, they can go to my website, which is www.aneesachaudhry.com. That's ANEES for sugar, ACHAUD, as in hot in French, HRY.com.
I tell you, and actually there's so much on there. It's quite inspiring looking at your website, because and I think the one thing that before you go, we must say is that, sometimes people think, oh, I can't do it, I can't sing, I can't do that. And you're brilliant at sort of encouraging people and working with people and teaching them that, yeah, you can actually put your mind to it, and you can do a lot more than you think.
Absolutely. We were born with a voice, and I also, my peer at Martlet's Hospice, Anne Broadshaws, I always say to her, if you can walk, you can talk, you can open your mouth, and you can sing. You just have to allow yourself to, from walking to getting on a bicycle might seem daunting. And some people have had really bad experiences with singing in the past, but actually just come, and the first thing you have to do is just come with an open heart and be prepared to have fun. Whether it's, as I say, whether it's in a choir or in an audience, come with an open heart, because it's not your responsibility to have a good time and to learn how to do it. That's my responsibility as the coach. So if you can just come and be prepared to have a go, we can go on an amazing journey together. And suddenly you've got people who are in their 70s who are singing for the first time, or, you know, someone who's experimenting with something. And, you know, it's a really emotional but amazing journey. They're singing in harmony. You know, they're singing songs like they never thought they would. They didn't even know that they had a voice that could be shared.
I love it. Oh, it's always so good to talk to you, Aneesa, and hopefully we can meet face to face at some point in the not too distant future, once people start coming. Again, it's always a pleasure to have you on the programme, and I hope it all goes well. Really lovely to talk to you this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. And the lovely Aneesa Chaudhry, she's so inspiring, and you can look up all the details of what she does, not just the event at the Brunswick on Sunday, but she also does, you know, many coaching. She's involved in the Martlets Choir and lots more as well. We'll speak to somebody else from the world of entertainment, same time tomorrow.
BBC Radio Sussex.
Travel.
Well, we've got reports